Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited. I'm excited for our family frenzy here this morning. This may be a complete disaster with all the microphones and kids and trying to keep everyone's attention, but hopefully we can stay engaged and move this conversation along pretty quickly. So I do have a series of questions here this morning that my son Parker helped me make. And we're going to identify a couple different things from your family. So really all we're going to do, I'd love for everyone to do introductions and things, but I think that would take up far too much time. So what we're going to do right now, if you're flying solo today, that's perfectly fine. But for you family members with multiples in the picture, I'm just going to ask you to have someone from your family raise their hand that best meets the criteria of what we're talking about. It's going to be very simple. For instance, our first topic of conversation. Miss Burden has been a regular log on to our Zoom conferences. However, I don't think she's with us this morning. When I consider our staff, I would consider her to probably be the pickiest eater. She makes fun of herself for having the palate of a 3-year-old, and her favorite meal is chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, which is popular in this house as well. But I want you to consider as a family, please raise your hand if you are the pickiest eater in your family.
Lucy. The dog.
Grace, I assume Ben is the picky eater then? Okay. Pretty good eaters in our house. However, I would suggest that my wife Megan is probably our pickiest eater. On the contrary, I want to take a look at who's going to be the family garbage disposal. Parker's grabbing my arm and making me raise my hand. And I can't disagree. One, I hate wasting food, and I'm super unpicky, and I just love eating whatever's left on the table, which doesn't help my waistline very much now that I have kids. For the staff, the person who you can always count on to basically sprint to Miss Johnson's classroom to get any kind of food that's in there would probably be Mr. Niekamp, in my opinion. Although I would probably be a close second as we rush to any food we can get.
Daddy.
Just a minute, please. Okay, the next topic of conversation. You can take this however you wish, but we're really looking for the class clown or the family clown. Either the one that's quick to rip off a one-liner or do a prank to the rest of the family. In our family, that would probably be this guy right here. Miss Archer, who's your class clown of your family?
Oh, we're having who's our class clown? River, for sure.
If we were to consider the class clown of Cassie Muzzy's clan, it may even be River with that broad of a group as well.
Yeah, he's the reason we're ready to go back to school.
For the staff, I debated on this one pretty hard. I would probably say Mike Daniels. Not because I think he's funny, just he's the most likely to pull a prank in the teacher's lounger as we go throughout the building.
Daddy, who's Jack?
Where's Jack? Jack's right there. There's Jack and Nora. Okay. I don't know.
I think he's trying to.
Our next topic is going to be who's the biggest bookworm in your family? Who's the most likely you're going to find caught snuggled up with a book? I see Miss Gephardt is hers. Michaela, the wife of Mr. Carter. The Greer clan offering some chuckles. Our bookworm is probably Parker, as you see in the background there. He loves to read. He's pretty good at it. And he's actually a great helper in the house as well, helping his little brother try to learn how to read when they're not fighting about it.
Am I a good helper?
You're a great helper, Quinn. For the staff, I kind of took the obvious choice here of Miss Burden as a librarian, but also Miss Kinney, I know, as a book reader. If you don't know, a surprising bookworm, in my opinion, is Mr. Niekamp. That dude reads a lot of books, so pretty impressive. The next topic is I want to identify the Ranger Rick of your family. So who's the outdoorsman, kind of adventurous, hiking through the woods, Boy Scout type person of your family? Miss Lako, I see you're the outdoorsman of your family. A couple Greers considering themselves to be outdoorsmen. We are a family who enjoys going camping, but beyond that, Parker's definitely our outdoorsman, always looking to get outside. He'd much rather play with sticks and rocks than any kind of ball or anything like that. So the next one, I know this is a controversial topic when we consider the staff. I've heard some general banter occurring throughout the staff, but I want to consider who is the most athletic person in your family. Mr. Carter claims himself as the most athletic. Weston, do you beat your sister in golf? Okay, and Grace confirms. All right, fair enough. But can either of you beat your dad? Okay, on occasion.
He's laughing.
Okay, Vita Cotter, who's your most athletic? Okay. And Miss Archer? Going with Luke, okay.
No, we're not. He self-elected himself.
Probably Mac.
I went Mac.
Okay. As long as we're not considering running to be extremely athletic, that's the general debate we have.
Hey, Mac's just hoping for 1,000 views on his hockey video. Like 900 and some.
Okay, Mom throwing a shout out there, trying to get her son's views up. That's okay. For the staff, I think we have a lot of general good athletes and a handful of 1,000-point scorers and basketball careers. However, I went with Coach Van Hoos as the general staff athlete. I never identified who the Ranger Rick of the staff was. I'm going to go with Mr. Shoemaker on this one.
Yeah.
Mr. Shoemaker does a lot of outdoor stuff. He's involved in Boy Scouts and things. I think a funny story that describes his Ranger Rick type stuff is I once invited him to an event and he canceled and or declined because he had a pig slaughtering event that he had on the schedule. Is that right, Mr. Shoemaker? So anyone who slaughters pigs, probably with their bare hands, I would consider to be pretty outdoorsy. And if I were stranded in the wild somewhere, he's definitely someone I would want on my side. Not to mention he's the size of a bear himself. So I would feel pretty safe in that regard. In our family, hopefully yours as well, we generally play a lot of games. Uno, Phase 10, Skip Bow, Candyland, Otrio, any kind of games, checkers, but our game night guru typically comes out on top as a winner would be Max. So who is your family game night guru, typically winning your board games or card games? Okay, Graham and the Greers, Mr. Carter self-declaring himself as a winner again. River apparently. That's good to see. Yeah, we enjoy the games. Hopefully you guys are getting plenty of time with the family playing some games here while we're on break. I once hosted a poker party, and I'm going to declare Mr. Fry as our game night guru of the staff because he came to our poker night and pretty much cleaned house. Also on the senior class trip, Mr. Fry kind of dominated the euchre table as we were playing with the kids while we were in Chicago. The next one, I think we can all go ahead and chuckle at who the staff would take the cake on this one. But the category that Parker came up with is the chit chat chatterbox. So who's the most talkative person in your family and or just does not stop talking? Ours would definitely be Quinn. She can talk to herself and often does for a long, long time. And recently we've been doing some FaceTime with family members and things, and she can just keep going and going and going, and it's quite impressive. As a staff, without any debate from anyone anywhere, undoubtedly our chit-chat chatterbox is Mrs. Archer, and I think she knows it. And she's clearly very proud of it, as River puts his hand on her mouth.
I live with 4 boys. I gotta hold my own.
So the next one, again, could be debated a little bit, but who's the early bird of your family? Someone you can consider to be the first one out of bed on a regular basis. Okay, Mama Lako. I'm probably that of my family. Melissa's pointing to her sister. And we got Nora raising her hand and taking the cake. Tyler, Mr. Niekamp is the early bird. If you don't know, I go to school awfully early, but almost never am I the first one there as Miss Bryan covers her face. Every single day, no matter how ridiculously early I go into school, Mrs. Bryan beats me there every day. And she has quite the commute to get to school. So who knows exactly what time she's getting up, but she is absolutely the early worm of this, or early bird of the staff. Okay, let's do a couple more here on the opposite there. Let's talk about the night owl. Who's the night owl of your family staying up way into the wee hours of the night? Grace, I'm a little surprised that that's you. Miss Randall declaring herself. Max and Parker both raising their hands here. Mama Greer in the background. And Quinn, okay. I don't really know who of our staff stays up late because I'm not up late enough to notice, but I do know oftentimes Mr. Vinacotter goes out to his wood shop and begins a project when I'm already 2 hours asleep and well into my night. So I know he's somewhat of a night owl, and that's always impressive to me. Sorry, let's do a couple more. I'll excuse everyone to be a little bit late to their first period class or their 10 o'clock session. The next one would be most creative. Who's the most creative or artistic in your family? Mr. Archer, the obvious choice as an art teacher. Mrs. Carter. Parker is definitely the most creative in our family. He's extremely artistic and talented. Shout out to Mrs. Jordan Hector, our elementary art teacher, who does a fantastic job, and he absolutely loves her class. Apparently, Quinn thinks she's creative as well, so we'll just pat her on the back. Okay. The next one, and probably the last one for the day, who would be your AGT, meaning America's Got Talent? Who's your America's Got Talent all-star? Most likely to appear on America's Got Talent. Mrs. Carter, I know, is extremely talented as a musician and a singer. Apparently, my whole family thinks they're talented. Jack apparently has some tricks up his sleeve. Okay, and for our staff, if you haven't seen this, it's quite impressive. I would declare Mr. Zender as our AGT All-Star with his behind-the-back shot from three-point that he does oftentimes during lunch. He has a self-declaration that within 3 shots he can make it every single time, and honestly, he often does. It's quite impressive. And he's got quite the flexibility in that shoulder and strength to get that shot up. So if any of our staff were to appear on America's Got Talent, I think it would be Mr. Zender with his behind-the-back shot. Okay, we are far beyond our time, but mainly beyond the conversation. It's great to see everyone and the kids and the smiling faces. So thanks to everyone for joining us. Hope you had fun with that. Everybody, please stay safe this weekend. Continue to stay sane, get outdoors when you can. And thanks for joining us. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and we will do it again on Monday at 9:45. Monday, buddy. It's the weekend. Everybody wave.
Where are we?
We're on the other screen.
I can't see me.
There we are.
There we go.